runs cold through the digital fire. Some say it's nothing, a glitch in time. Others see the moment when the stories align. Is the time, the numbers don't lie, but the theories keep screaming in the back of my mind. Was he there or just a shadow delay? The towers don't speak, they just betray. Tick, tick, the timeline bends. Data collides where the truth depends. Some chase ghosts, some chase proof. The signal divides the lies from the truth. Ping in the dark. What do you believe? Ping in the dark. What do you believe? $2.50 is the time. The numbers don't lie, but the theories keep screaming in the back of my mind. Was he there, or just a shadow delay? The towers don't speak, they just betray. Tick, tick, the timeline bends. Data collides where the truth depends. Some chase ghosts, some chase proof. The signal divides the lies from the truth. Hello guys, please let me know if my sound is good or not. Oh, I have some sorry for this. So please let me know in the chat, guys, if my sound is good or not. And thank you all of you for being here. Let me see who is here tonight. We have Veronica. How are you, Veronica? I'm excited for tonight's live. Mothers of Dragons. How are you, Mothers of Dragons? What's the name of this show? I always forget about this show in, with the dragons and fuck. Yeah, you always remember to that show. Anyways, Ticking Time Bomb. How are you, Ticking Time Bomb? Happy to have you here. Topher from Australia. Hello, Cryptex and chat. Rebecca Ann is here. Mar. Hey, Mar, remember to use your wrench whenever you feel is required. Belly May. Carving pumpkins. Cool. Halloween is coming, guys, so we should do something special for Halloween. Have a couple of masks, so why not? Let's do something special. Belly May, Deb. How are you, Deb? Happy to have you here. Dandelions. Nice to see you. Stephanie. How are you, Stephanie? Gina. Before this even begins, can I just say he's been on my radar since I learned about him. Well, tonight is not about him being a suspect, but it's related to the time his cell phone was pinging when he arrived to his mother's property. Kelt is in the house. How are you, Kelt? Happy to have you here. Okay, people are entering right now, so that's cool. I just want to say hello to you guys. If you are in the replay, you can advance the video. It's fine. Jenny, how are you, Jenny? She's true in the house. Theory, sound is good, cool. That's good. Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones. Thank you, Mar. That's the show I was looking for. Veronica, it was really cool the other time when you called. So maybe we could do something together in the future again. Nice to have you here always. Sweet dude Shibi in the house. How are you?
Oh, classic overthinker. Another viewer from Australia. Talking about Australia, I did a collaboration this morning with Amy, Daisy Ask. So go check the live. It was cool. It was about the video of the girls in the bridge. Sunflower Lola, how are you? Happy to have you here. So let me go down. Got this. Just scrolling down, guys. An addicted conspirator. How are you? A lot of people tonight. Good. Michelle, where are the branches in Brad Weber's garage? Good question. Good question. Sweet Dude Chibi. It's Saturday night. What else would an adult do? Yeah, you got it. So let me let me just share my screen here, guys. Tonight, I'm gonna talk about the Brad Weber's pings at 20 sorry, at 2:50 p.m. And I'm gonna give you a little bit of a context here, guys. I'm just fixing my screen. Sorry, give me just 1 second, guys. Sure. Okay. Think I have my screen here. What is the context? Last week, I think it was Monday, maybe, or yeah, on Monday, we were doing a show about. Actually, I was doing a collaboration with Eve, True Crime with Eve, and Sleuth Intuition was in the chat, and he was asking questions about the pings, the Brad Weber's pings, right? So at one point, I think, in my opinion, he's wrong about his theory because he says that the Brad Weber's pings at 2:50 p.m. are irrelevant. It means nothing. And in that show, I just told, or I answered to Sleuth, telling him that, in my opinion, he was wrong about his theory because the 2:50 p.m. pings, it's an indication that Brad Weber, he arrived at his mother's property around that time. I'm not saying it's exactly at 2:50 p.m., but around that time. So, of course, it was expected. The next day, the day after that show, he made a very, how can I say? Not gonna say angry show, but he was not happy about that situation. So he said that we are just lost. That if we think that the fact that the cell phone of Brad Weber is pinging at 2:50 p.m. at his property, it doesn't mean that he actually arrived at that time, right? That only shows that he was there at 2:50, but he could arrive minutes before, hours before, days before, and the ping occurred later. So this is a little bit wild. So what I'm gonna do today is I actually asked, and this is just an exercise, I asked three artificial intelligences about that. So the prompt I used to ask these artificial intelligences, ChatGPT, Gemini from Google, and Grok, was the script or the transcript of the Sleuth Intuition video. And there are some interesting conclusions there. So I'm not gonna stay talking too much about that. I'm gonna go right away with with my material support, let's say. So I'm gonna play the video here. Graph, ChatGPT, Gemini versus sleuth intuition theory. What is sleuth intuition theory? His theory is that Brad Weber's 2:50 p.m. pings mean nothing. So let's see what, and the results are interesting. So let's see what are the results. Give me just 1 second here, guys. Be patient. So this is just to have a little bit of a context here. I was in a live with Eve, True Crime with Eve, and Sleuth was in the chat. So this was the question that Sleuth was asking there. But he asked a couple of questions, but since I was talking to Eve, I couldn't see all of them. But this one was one of them. Cryptex, the timestamp was also AM. So what do you say about that? So this was my answer to him. And sorry again, I'm gonna answer again to Sleuth. Sleuth, the maths are very easy. The cell phone was pinging, the Brad Weber cell phone was pinging at his mother property at 2:51 or 2:52. So the van, the timestamp is 2:44. It's a perfect match. So you cannot say that because it's AM versus PM that you are off by 13 minutes. I agree with a lot of your ideas and I respect you as a creator, but here you have to investigate a little bit more because you are wrong. Sometimes I'm wrong too, but in this specific point, you got it wrong, Sleuth. So he didn't like that, of course. He didn't like it. We know that he's very opinionated. And when your theory is so perfect and other people are showing you that there is a gap in that theory, of course, he's not going to like it. Okay. So, but I want to be fair tonight. I want to listen to his points. And I just want to go to. Did you hear the what I just played? Because sometimes I'm making boo-boos here, so just I'm gonna scroll down to the end of the chat just to be sure that my material is my sound is good. Not my sound, but the material are playing. Is it good? Okay, perfect. So he didn't like what I said that night. He was a little bit pissed, and of course I was expecting some type of pushback, some type of replay. The day after he made a video, he was a little bit angry. I'm not gonna say angry, upset, let's say. And I understand. So he was talking about what happened during my streaming. And again, I want to say that I respect Sleuth. He has good points. I think he's smart, but sometimes he's wrong, right? And he doesn't take that very well. And in my opinion, he's still wrong in that aspect, in that element. So let's see what was he saying during his streaming the day after. I know that some of you don't stand Sleuth, but he made a fair point. His thoughts were interesting, and yeah, I know, Jer. But sometimes a script is relevant, that's fine. I don't care if the script is a good document. You can read it. It's that's not the problem. So anyways, he was kind of upset. So let's see what was his point. It's gonna take like 4 minutes, let's say. Please be patient, and then we are gonna come back and we're gonna see what the artificial intelligences were saying about that. I used the help or the support of those artificial intelligences because I was bad at finding some expert in cell phone behavior, and sorry for that. I would love to have an expert tonight to talk to us, but my experts are gonna be ChatGPT, Gemini, and Grok. So coming back uh, to his points, and I'm trying to be fair because I really think he has a point, but at the end, his point was really forced, and we can see that he was pissed. Anyways, let's go with his video about the 2:50 p.m. pings and about what happened during our show with Eve. Okay, let's go with that.
When you got home, it should be pinging at 2:46, right? I mean, where are these 4 lost minutes at? Shouldn't it be accurate? It should ping right then. What do you do? Stop in the middle of the private drive and go through his mail? Like, do you even run these pieces of information through your mind before you start supporting Richard Allen, a convicted child killer? Oh, his timeline doesn't match up because Brad Weber, we got a video of him 2:44 a.m. and a time ping at 2:50 from the FBI. So I support Richard Allen, or at least I don't agree with the official narrative, right? I'm not convinced that he's guilty. There's this ping at 2:50 and this video of 2:44 a.m. Well, first of all, if it's 2:44 a.m., it's not reliable, right? So it could be exactly correct, but you wouldn't be able to rely on it because it's not connected to the internet. It's not connected to a satellite. You don't know when it's been moved. You don't know how many times it's been unplugged. You don't even know if the people who set it up ever even cared about the time.
It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. The thing that matters here is the time at with the pings. The ping is pinging when he arrives to his property. But anyways, let's continue here.
Cheeks, a fucking moron.
We are
absolutely.
We are morons.
These people think that a timestamp, or excuse me, you can ping somebody's phone when they arrive at a location.
Mm-hmm.
So every time I get home, I have a phone ping that they can grab.
Continue.
Yep, that's proof. 2:44 is accurate. You just got to switch the AM to the PM. We got the phone ping. It matches right. Okay, what was Brad Weber driving like 3 miles per hour?
No.
In what world does it take him that long to get from the entrance of the private drive to his home?
Mm-hmm. So this is the thing. The difference you are talking about, and we are going to see later, is called a realistic margin of error. You know, a realistic margin of error is 3 minutes or 5 minutes. It's not 20 minutes. That is science fiction. So, but anyways, let's give it a try. Let's listen to the tirade of Sloot, and let's try to be fair because, again, I think he has a point, and even Gemini was in agreement with Sloot intuition, not Grok, not Chat GPT. So let's continue listening to his points. I don't care if I'm wrong. I don't care if I'm right. I'm looking for the correct information here. But after doing this exercise, I still think that he's totally wrong. So let's continue.
So even their nonsense is flawed. It's crazy. Okay, let's go through some of these notes. So pings are not snapshots, not continuous tracking. When your phone pings, the cell tower is logged in a record. It's just a momentary exchange, a single data point. The system doesn't record a continuous stream of movement data before or after that instant. Now, here's the kicker. So if your phone is at a cafe from 8 to 8:30, but the only tower record happens at 8:25, the data can't tell when you arrived, 8 o'clock, 8:10, or whether you were already there before the ping happened. It only proves your phone was connected near that area at 8:25. So the only thing that you get from a 2:50 p.m. ping provided by the FBI and brought up during the trial by the defense is that Brad Weber was there at 2:50. No matter what, his phone was there and connecting to the network at 2:50. That doesn't say he arrived at 2:50, you fucking idiots.
So we are fucking idiots because we are thinking that according to the ping information, Brad Weber arrived at around 2:50. And he's not wrong in that sentence. He's not lying, but he's omitting some relevant information. Like, for example, the most probable margin of error. He's not providing the whole information here. In my opinion, he's picking the information that is useful to push his narrative or his theory. And this is weird because usually, even if we disagree with him, I think that Sleuth Intuition, he's open-minded. He's not, if he's really pro-prosecution, he's just gonna say, Richard Allen is the only one doing or committing this crime. He's not gonna think about the clients, and we know that he's very solid into the client's angle. So it was a little bit weird to listen to his speech, let's say, but it is what it is. So again, he's not lying, he's not providing wrong information, but he's not telling us the whole story here, and we are idiots. So let's continue with his video.
All right, let's continue on here. Phones don't constantly talk to towers. Phones connect when you make or receive a call, text, or data session. The network checks your phone's location periodically, which could be minutes or hours apart, or the carrier pings the device during an authorized location request. Right? Your child runs away, parent goes into the police station, says, "Hey, my child has ran away, can you ping the phone?" Those are specific circumstances that allow you to do that without a warrant, or you get a warrant and you reach out to the provider, the service provider, AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, whatever. And you can ask them through your search warrant to ping that phone.
This is even worse. If Michael Osbrook is right, we are talking about Wi-Fi. So that 2:50 p.m. ping is going to be actually exact and accurate timing. But let's say worst case scenario is not a Wi-Fi. We don't trust Michael Osbrook because we are biased. Let's say it's not a Wi-Fi scenario here. Anyways, it's going to be really close to 2:50. So let's continue here, guys.
But it's not a continuous ping. You can't pick and choose when you can grab a ping. So
I think you are the one picking and choosing, and I am replying to his video because it looks like he is talking to me. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's evident that this is a pushback to my streaming. So let's continue here.
Anybody that's supporting Richard Allen based on a 2:50 p.m. ping, you're dumb. I can't put it any other way. I'm sorry. And that's coming from somebody that's not the brightest.
So I'm not the brightest, and I give him that point. I'm not the brightest. The crown is for what's the name of this guy? Fix Solves. He's the brightest here. So I'm not pretending to be a bright guy here. So you're right in that aspect. And the brightness is for you guys, not for me.
So what should that say about you?
About me.
And that's coming from somebody that's not the brightest.
I'm not.
So what should that say
No,
about you?
thanks. It's fine with me. So let's see what is Gemini, ChatGPT, and Grok about sleuth intuition theory. So first of all, some spoiler alert. Gemini, he agrees with sleuth intuition's theory. ChatGPT, no, disagrees. And Grok disagrees. But wait a minute. Just 1 second here, guys. Spoiler alert number 2. So I feed Gemini with Grok conclusions and ChatGPT conclusions, which were sleuth is wrong. What do you think? Can you revisit your conclusion based on our research, let's say? And Gemini, she or he became a chicken. So Gemini, after being fed with Grok and ChatGPT, she agreed that sleuth is wrong. And I did the opposite because I was trying to be fair. So I fed Grok and ChatGPT with Gemini conclusion, and they still they reinforced their initial opinion about sleuth intuition being wrong. Now I know that this is just an exercise, and this is just to trigger a discussion with you guys. I'm not saying that because Grok, ChatGPT, and Gemini, those artificial intelligences, are saying that sleuth intuition is wrong about that specific element of this case. It doesn't mean that he's wrong. Maybe he's right, and maybe he's beating Gemini, ChatGPT, and Grok. Maybe, could be. Now, maybe you're gonna say that I didn't prompt those artificial intelligences correctly. That I was trying to push my ideas or my narratives in those artificial intelligences. But again, for the sake of the fairness, just to try to be fair here, what I did was to use the transcript of sleuth intuition video, and I uploaded that transcript into each one of those artificial intelligences, just to not to be biased. So the prompt was very simple. Look, this is what sleuth intuition is saying in his video. Transcript, what do you think about that? Is he wrong or is he right? So I was not trying to push any idea here. You know what I mean? I was using his own ideas or theories, whatever. So the next 10 minutes are going to be a little bit annoying for you guys, maybe, because I'm using voices of like artificial voices that I have in my softwares. I was a little bit lazy to talk myself. So we're going to start with Gemini, who was the AI being in agreement with sleuth. Then we're going to hear the thoughts of ChatGPT. And then we're going to hear the thoughts of Grok. And at the end, we're going to hear the final conclusion here. So I know it's going to be a little bit annoying because it's not a real voice, but at least it's going to be interesting to trigger some conversation here. And again, I'm not trying to make fun of Sloot. Maybe at the end, maybe he's right. Who knows? But based on the research I was doing, based on the information we have tonight from Osbrook, that situation was actually related to a Wi-Fi, it makes clear to me that Brad Weber was actually arriving at around 2:50 p.m. at his house. So I'm gonna play. It's gonna be 10 minutes, guy. Be patient. I'm gonna try to stop from time to time, and I'm gonna come back to the chat to talk to you guys.
The content creator is most probably right in his assertion that a cell phone hour ping at 2:50 p.m. does not necessarily mean the phone's user arrived at his property at that precise moment. The creator's argument aligns with the general principles of cell phone forensics. Pings are discrete events. Cell phone tower connections pings are logged in a record as a single data point when the phone makes or receives a call, text or data session, or when the network performs a periodic location check, not as a continuous stream of movement. Arrival time is uncertain. The data only confirms the phone was connected to the network near that area at 2:50 p.m. If the phone was stationary and inactive for a period before that log entry, the arrival could have occurred minutes or even hours earlier. Supporting the earlier timeline, as the content creator notes, the phone could be there 20 minutes before the first log connection, and there's no way to know that from tower data alone. This means the 2:50 p.m. ping does not invalidate the possibility of an earlier arrival, such as the 2:30 p.m. time that aligns with Richard Allen's reported confession. The common belief that cell phone pings start right at the moment Brad Webb's is a technically inaccurate interpretation of cell tower data. A continuous moment of arrival timestamp is only typically captured with active use or continuous GPS tracking like a navigation app, which is more detailed than a standard cell tower ping record.
How cell phone
Sorry, so that was Gemini. The initial thinking from Gemini, Gemini was in agreement with Sleuth Intuition. So let's see what Grok and ChatGPT are gonna say. And Shay, the problem with him is that he refuses to look outside his box. I actually disagree with you, and that's why I'm a little bit surprised, because he's, in my opinion, he's the one who is really open-minded here, because he's not very radical. We have radical sides here. We have the pro-Allen side that is just, he's just innocent. He's not even involved. We have that side. And we have the pro-prosecution side saying that he's guilty and he's the only one. He's the only actor here. But actually, Sleuth, he's, I'm not going to say in the middle. He's going toward the pro-prosecution side, but at least he believes that there are other actors in this crime. So that's why I was surprised, because usually he's open to, he has a good nose. I have to give him that. He has a good nose, like, something's weird here. Something is not adding up. Something is not correct. But I think that he was really thinking that his theory was perfect. And then when he sees that there is a big gap in that theory, he doesn't like it. You know, fuck. No. It cannot be true. My theory is still right. I have to find a way to say that my theory is still right. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm clear here, maybe not, but again. So let's see what is ChatGPT going to say about sleuth theory.
pings actually work. A ping happens when a phone communicates with a cell tower. either because it's actively using data or calls, or as part of routine background communication, network registration, push notifications, etc. Here's what matters. There's no built-in 20-minute delay for tower registration. When a phone enters coverage, it registers immediately, within seconds, with the tower providing the best signal. A ping recorded at 2:50 means that by 2:50, the phone was communicating with that tower. It doesn't mean it arrived 20 minutes earlier. There is no caching or queuing system that would release the ping later. The only situations that cause delayed tower registration are the following. The phone is off or in airplane mode and is turned on later. There's no signal dead zone until the user moves into range. The logs are based on tower data processing delays, but those affect database timestamps, not event sequence. So unless Weber's phone was powered off or had zero service for about 20 minutes, which there's no evidence of, the idea that the ping would appear much later is technically implausible.
So that's still a possibility. What if Brad Weber's phone was off? He was his phone was powered off, and he turned it on when he arrived. We don't know that. We don't know that. So I'm trying to be fair here. It's kind of unlikely, but it could be a possibility. Anyways, this is what I found interesting here about the realistic margin of error. So even if the 2:50 p.m. Ping is not exact, a margin of error is going to give you 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, not 20 minutes of error. So this is an information that he didn't take into consideration. And again, using the worst case here, which is that we are not talking about Wi-Fi, a Wi-Fi situation, because according to Osbrook, we are talking about Wi-Fi. So that's going to be like checkmate in that situation, let's say. So let's continue here.
Realistic margin of error. Cell tower timestamps are very reliable. If Weber's phone pinged a tower near his property at around 2:50, the margin of error is typically 1 to 2 minutes for signal transition or GPS sync, occasionally up to 5 minutes if signal conditions fluctuate, but not 20 minutes. That would be a huge anomaly requiring specific technical evidence. Logs showing late network reconnection. Conclusion, based on telecommunications principles and how phone networks operate, the content creator's idea that cell phone pings appear 20 minutes after arrival is highly unlikely. The pings around 2:50 p.m. reflect the actual time Brad Weber's phone reached his property, meaning his van likely passed through the area around that same time, not at 2:30. This supports the independent investigator's position that the timeline placing Richard Allen on the trail at 2:30 because of the van sighting is probably inaccurate.
So that was ChatGPT, guys.
The content
So ChatGPT was he disagrees or she disagrees with slot intuition theory, and one element that was brought by ChatGPT was the realistic margin of error, which is gonna be 4 or 5 minutes, not 20 minutes. So next one is gonna be
creator's theory that Brad Weber's cell phone pings would only start appearing around 20 minutes after his arrival at the property is most probably wrong. While cell phone networks can have variable registration intervals for truly idle devices, periodic location updates might occur every 30 minutes to several hours depending on the carrier, network type like GSM or LTE, and location area boundaries. There is no standard or consistent 20-minute delay built into the system. Phones in idle mode continually monitor and connect to the strongest nearby tower signal, often registering immediately upon entering a new area or detecting a signal change, especially during movement like driving. This process, known as cell reselection or handover, happens in seconds to minutes, not with a fixed multi-minute lag after stopping. In practice, modern smartphones are rarely fully idle due to background data activity, app refreshes, notifications, which triggers frequent interactions with towers, potentially every few minutes or less. Location data from cell sites, CSLI, and investigations typically reflects these connections promptly upon arrival, particularly in rural areas like Delphi where tower coverage is sparser and signal changes are more noticeable. If pings first appear at 2:50 p.m. showing Weber at home, the most plausible explanation is that he arrived around then, not earlier at 2:30 p.m. with a delayed ping response. The creator's idea seems like an attempt to reconcile conflicting timelines without supporting evidence from how cellular technology actually works.
Gemini's analysis of ChatGPT and Grok conclusions.
So this is like the final conclusion. So I fed Gemini, the one who was in agreement with Sleuth Intuition, with Grok's and ChatGPT's conclusion, and he became a chicken. He accepted that he was wrong at the beginning, and that Sleuth's theory is most probably wrong. Again, this is just an exercise. I'm not an expert at all about how cell phones work, but based on that research, I still think that he's wrong, and that Brad Weber, he arrived around 2:50 p.m. at his property, and I agree with him, and I'm not the brightest guy here, of course, but I don't know if he is. So let's continue with the final conclusion here, guys. And that I want to know more about the Wi-Fi situation, Michael. If you can tell us something more about that, it's gonna be really, really cool. So we have still here like 4 minutes more, final conclusion, and then I'm gonna come back to the chat to talk to you guys.
Content creator's specific theory of a 20-minute cell phone delay is technically implausible. Immediate registration, when a phone is active or even idle and enters a new area with a strong signal, like a home property after a drive, it registers immediately with the best nearby cell tower. This process happens in seconds, not 20 minutes. Idle versus logging. While a phone can be idle, not actively making a call or sending a text, modern smartphones are rarely silent. Background data, app refreshes, and network heartbeat pings generate frequent interactions, meaning a phone would typically generate a log entry much sooner than 20 minutes after arriving and settling down. Lack of supporting evidence. The creator offered no technical evidence, such as a known network-wide software flaw, a specific power-off state, or an unusual dead zone, to support the large 20-minute delay needed to reconcile the 2:30 p.m. arrival with the 2:50 p.m. ping. The realistic discrepancy. It is important to keep the overall context of CSLI reliability in mind. CSLI is not GPS. Cell site location information, CSLI, provides only an approximate location relative to a tower and a time of a logged event, call, text, or data. It is not continuous tracking and does not provide an exact time of arrival, unlike GPS data. The plausible window. An arrival at 2:45 p.m. that is followed by the first log event, a ping, at 2:50 p.m. is plausible due to a brief period of inactivity, signal handover, or the time interval of the network's background checks. This relatively small 5-minute window is the margin of error typically associated with CSLI, not the 20 minutes proposed by the content creator. Based on the information provided and the technical analysis of cell phone data, my final conclusion is that the content creator's specific theory about a 20-minute cell phone ping delay is most probably wrong, but his underlying skepticism about the definitive accuracy of the 2:50 p.m. ping time is warranted. Final conclusion. The most technically sound conclusion is that Brad Weber's phone most likely arrived around the time of the 2:50 p.m. ping, which conflicts with Richard Allen's reported confession, suggesting a van sighting at 2:30 p.m. Technical implausibility of a 20-minute delay. Registration is fast. Phones register with the strongest tower immediately upon arrival, within seconds or a minute. Active devices. Modern smartphones are rarely idle. Background app activity, operating system checks, and push notifications generate frequent data sessions that result in CSLI logs much sooner than 20 minutes. Creator's flaw. The content creator's proposal that the arrival was exactly 20 minutes before the first ping is speculative and lacks technical support. It appears designed to make the cell phone data fit the 2:30 p.m. timeline derived from the confession. CSLI data uncertainty. Pings are not exact arrival times. The cell phone log at 2:50 p.m. only proves the phone was connected to the network at that time. CSLI is a record of activity, not a continuous GPS track of presence. Plausible error. An arrival time slightly before the log, such as 2:45 p.m., is plausible and well within the expected margin of error for CSLI data. Even with a conservative margin of error, the van's arrival time, likely 2:45 p.m. to 2:50 p.m., still places it on the property significantly after the 2:30 p.m. time cited in Richard Allen's confession as the moment he was startled and fled. The technical evidence supports the conclusion that the 2:50 p.m. ping is an accurate reflection of the van's arrival time.
So again, that was the final verdict. I think we still have 30 seconds. I dropped the link if Michael wants to call. Sorry, I was late in the chat. 30 seconds more here.
Final verdict. Gemini's explanation sounds forensic but overstates the uncertainty. It's technically true that tower logs don't capture arrival moments with GPS precision, but practically false to suggest a 20-minute hidden gap is plausible in a typical active phone scenario. So, most likely, the content creator's 20-minute delay theory is wrong. Cell tower records are reliable enough to indicate Brad Weber arrived around 2:50.
Okay. So that was the final verdict, the final conclusion. Again, I'm not saying that because 3 artificial intelligences are saying that means that they are right and that sleuth is wrong. I really want to take into consideration the sleuth's point of view. But tonight I learned something interesting related to the Wi-Fi. So if that connection is actually related to a Wi-Fi, that's the nail on the coffin, you know what I mean? He arrived at 2:50 p.m. Apparently Michael has some information about it. That information could be challenged, of course, if someone... Hey, Michael is here. Hey, hello, Michael. How are you?
Hi, Krotek. I'm fine. I heard that thing of sleuth, and if we were talking about cell tower pings, I don't know. I mean, I said it over and over in the chat. The FBI, you don't get location information off of towers. The FBI would not have said pinging at his mother's house at 2:50 unless they mean there was a Wi-Fi connection.
So
that was loose language by the FBI. You couldn't tell from the tower info. I mean that's not even geofence info, right? It's just this tower over here got a signal, even to get directional information, not house information. But the cell towers are divided up, I believe, into 120. So there are 3 sectors, I think, on each tower. And so even from the tower info, if you knew which sector, you would only know where within 120 degrees in that direction the phone was. The FBI said pinging at Weber's mother's house. They're not saying that unless he's hooked up to the Wi-Fi. Second, yeah, we have the van video. You can argue about the time being off all you want. I mean, it is off by 12 hours, but you want to say it's off. But the thing that's not in evidence, I have seen Weber's phone records. I have seen his texts. He is sitting in the Subaru parking lot, texting his friend that he's delivering this trailer to, a guy named Troy, telling him that he's waiting. So he gets out, he gets to his van, and by the way, from the door of the Subaru plant out to the edge of the parking lot alone is 100 yards. 100 yards. I mean, go do, you all can fact check me. Go get your Google Earth thing going, and you will see he was in the east lot. It's ginormous, and it is a long way out to the lot. And he texts his friend, asking him if he's there, and he doesn't get a response. And at 2:12, he says, "Okay, the trailer is in the southeast corner of the lot." He's not doing that while he's driving. He texts his friend, "Okay, you're not coming." He says, basically thinks, "Okay, he's not coming out. I'm going to tell him where it is before I go." He leaves at 2:12, and that just lines up with both the van video and the FBI subject information sheet. And I did the drive, and Barbara McDonald did the drive, and we came up with, and we were both flying. We did it independently. I didn't know about her results. She didn't know about mine. I think they came up within about 15 seconds of each other. And I think it was to the top of the drive, because the gate was locked. I think I had 27 minutes and 14 seconds, and I was speeding like hell in a really pretty fast car. I don't know how fast Weber was driving, but you had 2:12, say it takes a minute to get out of the lot. That's 2:13. 27 minutes is 2:40. 2:44 is exactly when he should be showing up. He's not driving as fast as I did. He's not driving as fast as Barbara McDonald did. It just all lines up. And I also want to say, if Weber was lying to anybody, I think he was lying later to the FBI about having gone and doing these ATM things, because he said in 2017, within a day or two of the events, that he thought he got home around 2:30, and that whole ATM stuff came up later. And I think he said, was trying to put himself as far away from the crime scene as possible. And I think it's about 2:30. Look, it's 7 years later. I mean, I'm a little suspicious, because I think that Mullen said Weber never said that he checked his phone info. Mullen on the stand said that Weber had checked his phone info. I don't know whether Weber had done that or not. If he had checked his phone info, he would have seen that he didn't leave until about 2:12. But it's entirely reasonable if he remembers he got off early. I think a lot of people got off early that day for some reason at 2:00. And if you just remember I got off at 2:00 and you think, yeah, what did I say? It's 27 minutes and change to get to the top of the drive where the gate is, then it makes perfect sense that, he thought that he got home around 2:30. I just don't think he's lying about that. I just think he's wrong about that. And I think McClellan knew he was wrong about that. And I think Mullen knew he was wrong about that.
And thank you, Michael, for that. I want to play the devil's advocate here. Let's say I'm going to be sleuth intuition here. And I'm going to ask you, okay, Michael, you're telling me that, but what is the evidence? You're saying that Brad Weber's phone.
Just 1
second. Let me talk, Michael, 1 second. You're saying that Brad Weber's connection is related to a Wi-Fi and not to a ping. How can I be convinced about that? let's say, if he's asking you that.
Let me say it. I've said it 4 times in the text and in the chat, and I've said it here. You
Okay.
cannot. The FBI cannot be saying it's pinging at Weber's mother's house if it's just cell tower information. Period.
Okay. Why not?
Because you don't get location data off of a cell tower. I explained that. All you would possibly do is get a 120-degree directional information if you knew which sector on the tower his phone showed up on. You wouldn't get distance and you wouldn't get location. You're only going to get location by triangulating 3 towers.
Okay, but this
And
is
there are
your...
only 2 towers, and there are only 2 towers in Delphi. That's why there's no triangulation info in any of the evidence.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but that's the way you make sense of the whole situation. But it's written in the FBI documents that it was a Wi-Fi situation. It's stated like that.
No, it says pings at his mother's, starts pinging at his mother's house at 12:50 and continues until 11 something. They're talking about the Wi-Fi.
Okay.
I mean, it's just they're not talking about cell tower information.
Okay. Okay, I got it. I will take advantage of your presence here, Michael. And
I'm always willing to being taken advantage of.
And I'm gonna change the subject dramatically. In the, let's say, 2 prior weeks, we had Andy Kopsa, we have criminality playing the Jerry Holman's deposition, right? And a little bit of a context, I don't know if you know or not, but one of my main theories here in this case is that the way I connect the dots in this situation here is that Keegan Klein, at one point, he made a deal, a negotiation with law enforcement. A lot of people here, friends, no friends, haters, trolls, a lot of people disagree with me, and they were telling me, you are fucking lost. This type of negotiations are impossible. There's no even legal substance in Indiana to have this type of deals. When I heard, and this is not to get some type of validation for real, it's just to try to understand. When I hear the Jerry Holman deposition, he's talking about the possibility of a deal with Keegan Klein between law enforcement and Keegan, a possibility of immunity. So I think I was not that lost, and I'm not bragging. I'm just trying to understand. When I hear Jerry Holman talking about that, I think that was on the table at one point. I don't know if that happened or not at all, but it's something that is possible or not at all, because a lot of people were telling me, Cryptex, forget about that, you are fucking lost. So I want to see, based on your knowledge about laws here, what do you think about that?
Oh, no, McClellan could have absolutely offered Keegan Klein immunity for testimony, and I think doesn't the deposition say something like we couldn't prove anything that Klein said? And I don't think that's true. I think there's something else going on. I was having this discussion with somebody else earlier, but the only sense I can make of it, and you all can think about it, I'll toss this out for you to think about. I kind of work at conspiracies from the other end, and that is they emerge from the evidence. I don't start with the idea that there was a conspiracy, because conspiracies are notoriously weak. But the evidence against Ron Logan was so overwhelming. And that's including, and I'm not talking about anything Reese Davis said in letters later, about Keegan Klein coming to him, just the May 2017 tip and the notes made from his discussion with law enforcement. The girls found on his property, his phone. I mean, the whole FBI search warrant affidavit, all that information. And I don't really think that Ron Logan was bridge guy, but maybe. But the only sense I can make of this is that Ron Logan was involved. Other people were involved. Now that would, coincide with what Reese has said about Keegan Klein and a third person, but other people were involved. I'm absolutely agnostic about who else was involved. And by the way, another reason other people have to be involved is not just Reese, and that is, if you believe Stacey Eldridge about the headphone connection at 5:45, somebody else had, unless Ron Logan had the phone with him and was plugging it in, which I doubt. He was at the fish store till at least 5:21. That's when his receipt was. He could not have been back wherever the phone was in Delphi to plug headphones in at 5:45. So if Ron Logan's involved, somebody else is involved. And the only sense I can make, if you want to come up with a conspiracy theory, the only sense I can make of this is that somebody of the other person or people who were involved is being protected, and that Ron Logan was not pursued because they had pursued Ron Logan, he would have spilled the beans about the other person or people involved. And it is those other people, that other person who was being protected. Also, remember, McClelland, almost the minute he became the prosecutor, sent Ron Logan home. It was house arrest, but he was home, out of prison. I mean, he had a while to go in prison thereafter. All I have to say on the subject of conspiracies, I'm working on evidence, but at least I can't explain why in 2017. I mean, if you look at the evidence in the search warrant application, the FBI search warrant application, and you look at the alleged confession to Reese Davis, there's more evidence against Ron Logan then than there ever was against Richard Allen. And they didn't arrest him. So you have to explain that. And that's the only explanation I can come up with at the moment. It's not, I can't prove it. And I'm not interested in proving it. I'm working on the other end, developing as much evidence as I can that will actually get Rick Allen out. I know a lot of people are doing incredibly valuable work, including you, poking around all the inconsistencies in the trial testimony and everything that's happened, everything people have said over time, and all of that stuff in the event of a retrial or in the post-conviction case will be tremendously valuable, but none of it is actually going to get Rick out, and getting Rick out is the only thing I'm interested in.
Thank you, Michael, for that. One question related to Keegan Klein. Why don't we have the videotaped confession of Keegan Klein at the Grissom Air Force Base, that transcript, that video material? Why don't we have it? And
well,
can we have it at one point? Is possible to ask for it?
So that's in a separate case. I don't know whether it was in the discovery the defense got or it was provided to the defense. I just don't know. I don't think that video recording qualifies as a public record, but it might. I'm not. So there are two sets of rules. There's the access to court records, And then there's the access to public records.
Okay.
And I know a bit more than I used to about the access to court records because I did a 30 tweet thread on the subject after educating myself, and I just don't know enough about the Access to Public Records Act, APRA, to tell you whether someone could ask for either a transcript or the recording itself. I think the answer would be part of an ongoing investigation, to which, the question is, why would it be ongoing?
Okay, fair enough. Do you think that law enforcement is still interested in looking into Keegan Klein as a possible actor here, or that's game over?
Well, so the other side, if Keegan Klein was one of the other people involved with Ron Logan, or Keegan Klein's father, which is possible, I think it may have been disingenuous. Be nice. I hate that word, actually. It may not have been entirely honest of either McClelland and what he told Holman, or in what Holman said, that they couldn't prove it. If one of those two other people were involved, and either of them is the person I've suggested as being affected, then they're not going to be going after him, and that's we're not going to offer Keegan Klein immunity. I think it's more likely the third person that Reese mentioned that they're protecting, but they're not going to give Keegan Klein immunity if they want to protect the third person.
Okay, got it. And I'm gonna ask you an uncomfortable question, maybe for you, Michael. We know that at one point the firm of Bradley Rossi was close to the lawyers that were representing Keegan Klein and Ron Logan. Do you think that there is a potential conflict of interest here? And the question is because, in my opinion, I think that Bradley Rossi and Andrew Baldwin, they were very, very solid into the Odinism theory. I don't think they were pushing harder the Keegan Klein's or the Ron Logan's angle, and I understand the opinion of other people here. But do you think that there's a potential conflict of interest there? Because Rossi, he was very close to the lawyer representing Keegan Klein. What do you think about that?
So there's no conflict with respect to Keegan Klein. Andrew Akey, at the time he was representing Keegan Klein, was not in the same law firm with Brad Rossi. There just isn't a conflict of interest there. They were in the same firm at the time that Andrew Akey was representing Ron Logan, and of course Andrew Akey actually basically published a letter, kind of a press release, proclaiming Ron Logan's innocence and also vouching for him. I've known Ron Logan for years, kind of thing. And they were in the same firm at that time, but being in the same firm, I think this has been looked into, and the question actually arose with the lawyers, and it's really only a conflict of interest if Andrew Akey shared information about Ron Logan with Brad. And I think my understanding is it's a law firm, but basically everybody's doing their own cases. The person is doing, and so I don't think it's a problem.
Okay, thank you, Michael, for your input about that.
I mean, somebody wants to, somebody wants to file a complaint, the disciplinary commission can look into it. I think it's meritless, but who knows? I mean,
And I know that
I do know there was a discussion among the actual lawyers themselves about this, and they determined there wasn't a problem, and I have to go with their judgment about that.
cool. Do you have any new information that you would be able to share with us, or not at this point?
I mean, obviously the new information to come out this week's the Holman deposition, and boy, there's a lot there, isn't there?
A lot. It's insane.
And
Yeah. Wow.
I think we can say at this point there are two pieces of evidence in the state's case that have definitively been proven simply to be untrue. One is that because of the work that Yellow Jacket did, that car on the Hoosier Harvest Store video, on the still taken from the video, is absolutely not Rick Allen's 2012 Ford Focus. Period. The end. End of story. The tail lights on Rick Allen's car taken from the trial exhibit in his garage in 2022 do not line up on the rear wheel in anything like the same way the tail lights line up with the rear wheel on the car in the still from the Hoosier Harvest Store video. It is not Rick's car. We don't have to have photogrammetry. We don't have to have arguments or experts about whether it's the same model. It's just the taillights aren't in the same place. It's not the same car. Period. Yeah.
Okay.
Similarly, I think it's
Can you consider it like a blurry motion or not at all? You know what I mean? Well, maybe that when you have a video and you take like a screenshot, you have blurry motion. That maybe explain the discrepancy found by Yellow Jacket. No, I don't know. I'm playing the devil's.
No, it's so far off. No, there's nothing.
No,
there's nothing. There's no. It's it's out there. It was up on Twitter. I put it up. I think Yellow Jacket put it up. It's like a brilliant piece of work on something quite simple and definitive. And I think the other thing that's really destroyed is the idea that Brad Weber's van, if you buy the state's case, that Rick Allen was startled between 225 and 232, and it would have to be on the earlier side of that. Brad Weber's van wasn't there until later, so he could not have been dismissed. So if the girls died at 232, which I really don't know true, but if you think that happened, Brad Weber's van could not have interrupted Rick Allen before 232.
Yeah.
So I think those are two pieces of evidence. I think those are two pieces of evidence in the state's case that are just gone.
Cool. I don't know, guys, if you have any question for Michael here in the chat. Let's take advantage of his presence.
Yeah, we can listen to ask Cryptex and me anything. Ask Cryptex anything. He's got the better answers.
Not at all. I have the better questions, not the answers. So thank you so much, Michael, for calling tonight. It was really appreciated, and I appreciate your input.
Okay.
And
well, thanks for having me. I hope, I hope I guess my purpose in doing this was to just like put an end to this sleuth intuition ping thing, because it's just not a thing.
He's gonna come back with a new video tomorrow challenging this video tonight, but that's fine.
look, these people are exhausting, and they're exhausting for a particular reason. And that is, you can say, here are the facts. They're really undisputed facts, or facts beyond dispute. And they come back and tell you the same thing over again. I mean, the murder sheet is out there on their book tour, still saying that Rick Allen saw 3 girls and that there were 3 girls on the trail and they were the same 3 girls. No, Rick Allen said he saw 4 girls, and said he saw 3 girls, and there were 4 girls on the trail. And these people who want to push, I'm really not pushing any narrative, except that I haven't seen any. I've seen a lot of evidence that Rick is absolutely not guilty, and the lynch mob, as I refer to them, they keep in pushing their narrative that Rick was properly convicted. They can't do it without misstating the evidence.
Sure, 100%. So let's keep exploring the stuff here, Michael. And thanks again. Thanks again. Huh?
Thank you. See ya.
See you next time. So that was really cool to have Michael here tonight, clarifying some stuff. I really want to be fair here tonight, not tonight, in my channel. I want to give to the opportunity to people thinking different, in a different way. One of my moderators is Steve, True Crime Web. Looking forward for a new collaboration with you, Steve. Even if he is pro-prosecution, he's bright mind, open-minded, a nice person, a professional person. So I really don't want to go to one side or the other one. I want to take into consideration the ideas of intelligent people in every side of this whole case. I know that in the left side we have bright people. In the right side we have bright people. In my opinion, sincerely, my honest opinion is that the truth is in between. So I want to continue exploring stuff here. I want to end the streaming tonight with the initial, or the intro that I made for this streaming. Please hit the like, subscribe if you are not. I want to do like a movie about Delphi. So this is a little experiment I did. It's just like, let's say this is a trailer, and some people are already telling me that I'm very sensationalist because I did that, but I don't care. I'm gonna continue doing that, and I'm gonna make a movie. And this is the first step, let's say. This little intro is the inception of Cryptex movie coming soon. So thank you so much, guys, in the chat for being here. I appreciate your company. I appreciate your energy, and let's stay in touch. So let's watch the intro and keep in touch tomorrow.
Static in the signal, ghosts in the wire. Truth runs cold through the digital fire. Some say it's nothing, a glitch in time. Others see the moment when the stories align. Is the time, the numbers don't lie, but the theories keep screaming in the back of my mind. Was he there or just a shadow delay? The towers don't speak, they just betray. Tick numbers don't lie, but the theories keep screaming in the back of my mind. Was he there, or just a shadow delay? The towers don't speak, they just betray. Tick, tick, the timeline bends. Data collides where the truth depends. Some chase ghosts, some chase proof.